Well, I have an in-ground pool, and for a while I've been thinking about, it'd be cool to put some LED lights around the pool. But you know what, if you buy it with the pool, it's very expensive, and I just finally got around to thinking about putting out some inexpensive LED lights. You can pick them on Amazon. You need to get ones that are waterproof and that are made for the outdoors, and that's what I picked up right here. These are, I think, WRR light. It's like 35 bucks for, I believe it's 105 feet in here. It comes in 6 spools, and it's sort of like a rubbery light strip here. So it's not the real cheap, plastic feeling ones like the indoor ones. They're a little bit more expensive, of course, with the LEDs, and it has like a 3M type adhesive backing that you pull off. Now you can string these together, and I already tested them, and all of them can run off of one of the 3 little power sources that come off of the power supply, but they do get a little bit less bright out towards the end. But I want to run them all off of one power source. So I don't have to run them in opposite directions, because I want to go one way and go all the way around. So I'm going to string them together. So we'll have to see, is that very noticeable? It was noticeable inside, but it may not be very noticeable outdoors. So you get the 6 spools of these that you can put them together, but just plugging them in, you have to make sure that you get them plugged in to where the little triangle and arrow match up for the correct polarity. And then inside the box, you're going to get your typical stuff with LED. This is a little power supply I was talking about. That's got these 3 LED power sources. I think this is like 12 volts. Don't hold me to that. It's more than some of the other ones. And I don't want to have to run this in opposite directions. I don't want to go around my steps around the pool. So I'm just going to be using one of these. Now, they don't specify. I believe they say this is waterproof, but they definitely are saying that this isn't. So you're going to need to run a extension cord to it, because it's not very long. And this is something you're going to probably want to take off when you're not using LED lights outdoors, especially around a pool. So what I'm going to do is I might leave this outside during the summertime. I'll remove this, but in the wintertime and stuff when it's not in use, I'm going to obviously, safety cover will be in the way. I'll take all this off and just leave the LED strips in there and hope that the adhesive holds for a while. You don't know. That's the thing I wonder about. Is it going to hold? Is it going to fall off? Is it going to come undone? The thing that's nice though is this is not very expensive. This isn't a hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars lighting kit. This is 35 bucks, under $50. They give you some, user manual, QR code, and a user manual, and then a little QR code inside of here. It's for the app, and that's pretty much it. The app for this is called the, if I can pull it up, the Lotus Lantern. I remember, I didn't take a screenshot of it from this app store, but it's called the Lotus Lantern. If I don't put a screenshot of it, it's in your manual. You can search for that or do a scan of the QR code. So that will connect by Bluetooth. It doesn't use Wi-Fi. So it might automatically connect it. I open the app up and immediately if it's connected, just make sure Bluetooth is turned on your phone. And you can control all the lights from there. But you can also use the remote, which hopefully I got the remote in here. It's just a big infrared remote. I set it off to the side. It's larger than some of the ones I've seen, but you're going to get various kits from Amazon, so you may not get the same one, maybe very similar. Same lights, maybe have a different remote. It's just infrared. You do have to aim the remote at the infrared sensor. And these are not very sensitive because it's using light. So if you have it pointed off this way and the sensor's here, it's not going to work. Where the Bluetooth is using 2.4 gigahertz frequency, so it's going to be able to connect within a reasonable distance, 30 feet or so. So you don't have to worry about it. So I would only use the remote if you're in a pinch and you don't have your phone and you have the remote. Like I said, I don't have the remote here. I set it down somewhere inside and thought I had it in the box. So, all right, that gives you guys a pretty good introduction. What I'm going to do, I'll show you guys the pool here in a second. But I'm going to run it around the edge. I'll show you here in a moment, and then I'll give some time lapse, and you guys can see the installation process. And then I'll get you some shots after it's all done. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, you can see the pool here. Here's the remote. clumsy me was sitting on it. It was under my butt. So there is that remote. You guys can see. And that it's a really large remote, so it'll be a little less likely to lose this compared to some of the other smaller remotes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up this way and run all the way down, come back around. You won't see the other side. I'll come up by the steps here. I'm just running around the edge of the pool. I'm going to put it on this white plastic piece that's above the liner. You don't want to stick it to the concrete, it won't hold. And the liner, it would stick to it, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Would the adhesive react with the vinyl? Would it hurt it when you rip it off, or it fell off or replaced? I feel like they're much safer. Even though if you put it down in the water, it would look really wicked buried in the water. But again, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe it's totally fine, but I don't want to take that risk. So I'm going to put it up on the edge on the white here. All right, guys, let me switch cameras here, and we'll get you some time-lapse footage, and then we'll check this out when it's all done. So I'll be right back. I got it all installed. You guys can see the wire. You know, it comes through here, and I'm gonna plug this in when the pool's not in use, or if we are at nighttime swimming. But during regular day swimming and stuff, you want to unplug this, because this is not waterproof, and someone's gonna trip over it and stuff like that. So as you can see, I got the lights up now. Now they are on, but it's still daytime, so these are not going to be very apparent. I can see them, but I don't know how much they're showing up in the video. The brightness is turned up, and I just have them on a light blue at the moment. So this is really easy, very easy with the adhesive backing. I don't know how long these are going to last. You know, they're cheap, so it they may want to fall off the wall at some time, and I figure it's a very cheap investment, so it's not like it's something I'm going to be, you know, crushed if it ends up it lasts just one swimming season. We're already halfway through the current one. Now the black connectors, as you can see, it's focusing on my hand. They go between each strip. These are just a little 4-pin connector, and there's nothing adhesive between those spots. So let me see if I can get closer here to one. If I can flip the camera over here. Right in here, there's one. Right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape. I have some Gorilla brand, if I can find it, and stick it there. That'll help hold this up, because, you know, over time, gravity points, sagging, this is not heavy. I'm afraid they may start to pull this back. And it's very possible this will come back anyway, but this will help hold this up. Unfortunately, the connections between the strips are not the most aesthetically pleasing. They're a little bit sight for sore eyes, but it's not that many of them. I ended up using 5 rolls, and it came with 6. So I've got 1 extra roll. That roll, the adhesive backing was wanting to pull off with it. I need to work with it. I can fix it, but some of it, the first inch or so, is messed up. And thankfully, as you guys can see, for my size pool here, where we started, right there, I'll walk over to it. We've just got, it was absolutely perfect. Where it ended on the last LED, I just need to clip this off, and you can cut that off in the end. And I don't know how that works with those, you know, a little bit of wire exposing in. I know that they're made to be cut, so I might take, you know, a little bit of tape of some sort and try to seal the end of that where I cut it, because I don't want that big unsightly wire hanging there. Obviously, once you cut it, then that's it. You can't add any more to it, because you've cut the connector to allow it to keep going. Now, there is a bit of, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning about the brightness intensity dropping some. Where the power source first comes in, you can see it's brighter, and I can certainly see over here where it's just a hair dimmer. At night, that may not be very noticeable because it's going to be so much brighter to the eye. But here, where it's, you know, it's still evening, I can certainly see a difference in the brightness. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here with my phone, probably. Might put this into nighttime mode and wait till it gets dark and let you guys see it. And maybe I'll right before dark here, we'll conclude with a little bit of drone footage as well. See what the lights look like from up above in my drone. All right, guys, stick around for that. That'll be at the end of the video, so I'll be right back with that. All right, guys, I'm back out here. It's almost dark. A little bit of light left. Dusk. I think this looks pretty darn awesome. Turned on my white pool lights that came with the pool to give a little more glow. But this looks really pretty dang fantastic, I think. You can really make out the gaps where they plug in one strip to another. So it does leave a little gap, but it's kind of unfortunate. Again, hard to complain too much at its cost. But yeah, it has a bit of Vegas look to it, doesn't it? A little Las Vegas look with the LEDs and the glowing off the water and stuff. You know, it's something to be fun for the kids and people to swim at night. I mean, I don't know. Some people might think it's a little over the top. I just something I wanted to try out because we really wanted LEDs with this pool. They were color, and we were supposed to get them, I thought, but they didn't charge us for those. They only charged us for the white. And so it'd been nice to have had some ones on the wall that would actually change colors. But I think this looks pretty cool. Have to just see how it holds up. All right, if you want to stick around to the end now, guys, I'll include some drone footage. You probably saw some at the beginning of the video too, but I'll include a little more here at the end. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And while you're at it, click the bell. You'll get notified every time I upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.